Alrighty, well, good morning. I want to really do what is going to be best for you. I want to be able to help you in the best way possible. But thank you for those who are on live right now. One of the things that came to my mind over and over again about maybe what to talk about today is our ability to remain strong despite the struggles. Each of us, we experience different challenges and struggles in life. And the hardest thing is to remain strong during those struggles, is to remain, faithful to your values and your morals and your standards. For a lot of people, religious, if they believe or their spirituality is tested when a challenge comes up. And that challenge could be anything. Maybe all of a sudden a loved one gets sick or dies, or something didn't work out the way you wanted it to. And you're just going, what? I'm living my life the way I should. I've done this, I've done that. And we start giving all the reasons, all the excuses that say why we shouldn't be experiencing this struggle or this challenge. And I'm speaking from my own personal experiences that as I've been growing up and I'd living my life the way I should, and then my daughter got sick. And she had a tumor, a brain tumor. And I'm thinking, what do you mean? I mean, I'm positive. I keep telling myself and I keep telling my family, how amazing they are. And all this stuff, building them up, strengthening, helping to bring all the positive energy and to heal the individual. Plus I have my own spiritual beliefs where there's receiving blessings and prayer and fasting, and yet still my daughter had this tumor. Now, I've met people who, when they're in circumstances like this, they just kind of give up and they say there's no God. This is all a bunch of woo-woo, wash, it doesn't matter. Then I've met other people who were like, wow, I am so grateful for my spiritual beliefs because I don't know where I'd be at if it wasn't for the solid foundation to be able to grasp onto. And then I've met other people who just get resentment, just complete resentment, and they just want to leave everything. They want to leave their faith. They want to leave their family. I mean, they just want to leave everything. And they say excuses like, well, if there was a God, he wouldn't allow this suffering. If there was this, and it just goes through all this bitter hatred. And so that's what I want to talk about today is how do we get through those challenges? How do we get through that extra hard time that we just weren't expecting? And we got blindsided by. Excuse me. Well, I've got my own personal way of dealing with grief or dealing with the challenge or dealing with the struggle. And so I want to share that with you. My number one dealing with grief is no matter what, I try to stay happy and positive. I really do. It's when my daughter, we found out she had this tumor, and this is around Halloween. And I went to my daughter and I said, well, you know what? We can have fun with this. We can laugh. We can joke. Or we can sit down and talk about how awful and this is, and we could just go with a woe's me attitude. Grateful that my daughter, she said, well, it's already there. I can't do anything about it, so I might as well have fun with it. So for Halloween, we went and got one of those brain molds that you get that you put your jello in, and we flipped it upside down, and we took and we painted that brain mold to look like a brain. And then we wrapped a ace bandage around so it just looked like she had an exposed brain. Now, there are a lot of people who were quite offended. I can't believe you're taking this so light. I can't believe it. And there were a lot of people that was like, oh, wow, that is so awesome that you guys are able to just kind of laugh and move forward and move on. And then there's people who are like, man, I can't believe your daughter is willing to do this and how courageous and strong she is. Well, that experience taught me something very valuable. You cannot please everyone. No matter how you try, how hard you try, no matter what you do, you cannot please everyone. We thought everybody was going to love it. Everybody's going to laugh. Everybody's going to joke. Everybody's just going to have a great time. We actually really received some negative feedback from some people. And I was like, are you kidding me? If I want to laugh about this, that's my right. And if you want to sit and moan and groan and complain and be upset and throw a fit and think the world's awful, that's your right. But that negative outlook is actually damaging and actually creates worse pains and throughout the body. It really does. And it does not put any healing to what could potentially heal, and it only does the exact opposite. Well, my daughter, we went through this, and I was dressed up as a surgeon. My wife was dressed up as a nurse, and that's how we did things. And we laughed about it. Gratefully, everything went okay with the surgery. Matter of fact, she came out, she didn't have any pain. And they kept saying, well, the anesthesia must still be going on. And they would say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much is your pain threshold? I mean, your pain level. And she'd go, 2, 3. Well, she must be still under anesthesia. And they would try to give her the medicine. I said, well, I'm not going to give her the medicine unless she really needs it. And she never did. She never experienced pain with that first one. Now fast forward 4 years. She's 18 years old. This tumor grows back. And this time, still, it wasn't during Halloween, but we were still kind of playful with it. And we were saying, Aaliyah, this is your choice. You're 18 years old. You get to decide what you want to do. And up to this point, she had lost her driving privileges because she was having seizures. Well, once she found out she could possibly drive again, she was like, I'm in. Can we do it right now? I mean, she was no question asked because she wanted that freedom back. We were still happy. We were still laughing. We were still kind of joking about it. We were talking about, she'd already been missing part of her brain and now she's going to be even a bigger arrowhead. And it was the way she wanted to deal with it, and that it helped us to deal with this. Gratefully, again, the surgery went well. This time, the surgeon was much more aggressive. And he said, I would rather be more aggressive and make sure we get it all than less, and it grows back again and you're having to do this again in 4 years. And again, we turned to Aaliyah and said, this is your opportunity to make your own decision. You're an adult now. What is it you want to do? And she says, if it can help give me back my driving privileges and those things, let's go for it. But there is a downside. Now, the downside is your memory will get worse. And he listed all these different things. Well, it was her choice. Well, she chose to go ahead and do it. The surgery, again, was successful, but they removed the amygdala and the hippocampus. Well, in other cases where this has happened, they completely lost their speech, they lost their memory, there was all kinds of things that they lost. And we didn't know what to expect. But the pain that she was going through was excruciating. She kept, crying about how painful it was, and all we could do is just sit there and hold her. One of the things, again, how we deal with things is we just laugh, and we laugh, have fun, we're happy about things. So she just got out of the surgery, and she's sitting there on the bed. And if you've never seen somebody with a brain surgery, they have this tube that goes in, and it comes into the brain, and it comes down and around and out to the sac. And then the sac is where it's basically sucking out the blood that is building up so that it doesn't create worse problems. So she comes out, she's got her hair all pulled to one side, this sac coming out here, this cut that goes down and around like this, like a question mark. And she's just crying, saying, "Oh, it hurts. It hurts." And I told her, I said, well, I'm sitting there just talking to her, and I'm holding her hand. And my daughter loves to sing. She loves music and she loves to sing. And I'm exact opposite. I prefer, if I'm going to listen to something, it's going to be something educational, it's going to be something uplifting, it's going to be something that's going to build and empower me and strengthen me. It's really got to be something other than music. But she really loves Disney songs. And so I kneel down beside her bed, and I just was singing Disney songs to her over and over again. And this is the funny part is, so I started rubbing her leg, calming her down, because she just still was crying and saying how it hurt. And the drugs, nothing was helping at this time. But I would touch her leg, and then in between the pain, she would say, "Who's touching me? Why are you touching me?" I said, "It's just me, I'm calming you down." "Why are you touching me?" "Because I'm relaxing you." "Why are you touching me? Who's touching me?" And she kept doing this over and over again. So then I would stop touching her, and I'd go back to singing. And I noticed that when I touch her, it kind of distract her. And then she would say, "It hurts, but why are you touching me? It hurts, why are you touching me?" And then the next thing is, I think it was my wife. She was sitting on the opposite side of the bed. And so I'm still singing. And she starts rubbing her arm like this, just rubbing it back and forth. And again, "Who's touching me? Why are you touching me?" And Renee's like, "It's okay. It's just me. I'm soothing. I'm comforting you." "Well, why are you touching me?" And she just kept saying this over and over again. In between, "It hurts. It's painful." Well, this is how we deal with our struggles, our challenges, our grief and stuff, is we find ways to be happy and find joy in it. We really look to maximize our happiness, because one of the things is happiness is healing. Now, it doesn't matter what challenge you may be going through, much struggle you may be experiencing. If you approach it from a positive, uplifting attitude, then that goes to a healing mentality. That goes to a healing body. Now, is that going to say that magical, things are just going to disappear? No. But possibly. You never know. But when we maintain this attitude of being happy and finding joy and being grateful for the challenges and discovering the value and the lessons learned from these things, we stay and we are teaching our body to heal itself. I have heard of people who have gone through complete healing processes just by improving their attitude, by maintaining positivity, discovering the lessons that were learned. So this is a big part of it, is what's the lesson learned? The challenge and struggle that you're going through is teaching you something. Find joy in it, whatever that may be, and discover the lesson learned. So that then you can kind of move on from it. Now, you may experience some grief because of a loss of a loved one or sickness or something like that. And you can be like, well, what's the lesson learned here? I don't know. But maybe it's to teach you compassion for somebody else. Maybe it's to just learn to value life. Maybe it's to appreciate gratitude and appreciate the person. Whatever the lesson may be for you, but ask yourself, what is the lesson that I learned? The other thing that we need to, that besides the lesson, is what value am I getting from this? My daughter, going through the challenge that she went through and seeing how she handled it, she influenced a lot of people. I mean, we kept having people come up to us over and over again and saying, wow, because of the way your daughter reacted, because of the way she handled it, I looked at my problems and I was like, buck up. Dude, you got to just keep dealing. I mean, this is nothing compared to what Tony's daughter went through. Well, find value in your struggles, in your challenges. Because the more we do these things, it actually promotes healing. It increases our healing, our ability for our body to heal, the ability for our blood cells and our white cells and everything to heal and to take care of itself. So this is how I handle grief, how I handle my challenges and struggles. I look at the value from it and I just laugh it off. And the other thing is I always look, what's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario in really any challenge or struggle is death. Yes, granted, that's a pretty worst case scenario. But 9 times out of 10, the worst case scenario would never happen. Would never happen. But if we stay in this defeated mode, we stay defeated, that is how we can start experiencing that worst case scenario. We start to experience, more sickness, more pain, more anger, more frustration, more resentment, more anxiety. But we want to stay out of the anger, resentment, frustration, all that negative. We want to stay away from the negative. We really want to stay away from the negative because negative does not build, it does not strengthen. It actually creates harmful chemicals in our body that then makes things worse. So I want you to look at your challenges, your struggles that you're going through right now. And ask yourself, how are you handling it? Are you looking at the positive in it? Are you trying to find a lesson learned? Are you trying to find value? Are you trying to find purpose in it? Or are you just over here in the negative, woe's me, I'm going to go eat worms mentality? This one will not serve you. It may have served you in the past to just kind of learn how to cope, but now that you've learned a new way, we really need to find the lesson learned and the value and the purpose behind it. The more you do, the better you're going to heal, the stronger you're going to be, the better you're going to be able to face the challenges as they come. We're all going to have challenges, but when you face them with a positive and with an upbeat and uplifting attitude, not only do you change yourself, you influence the world around you. you will change the world around you. And that's how powerful having a good attitude is when you are facing a challenge or a struggle. You are amazing. Believe it. Recognize what you're facing right now, and let's just change the attitude behind it. Have a fantastic day.